What's up, guys? It's me, Amy. Good morning. It's like 7:45 in the morning. Ignore my pants up there. They are still drying. Oh my gosh. I'm going to talk fast, but I'm going to get it all out. So, God removed my relationship last year. If you've been following me, you already know this. This is nothing new. We had been dating for like a little bit over 2 years. Last year was a rocky thing. I upset him. He didn't talk to me for like 6 months. And then finally, he was not hurt anymore, I guess, and reached out. We hung out, and then we had an amazing night together, rekindling, having fun. Like, we didn't even miss a beat. And then he had told me the next morning, he's like, I just wanted to let you know, one of the main reasons that I wanted to, see you is because I'm moving out of the state in a month. So we spent, 4 weeks hanging out like once or twice a week and just enjoying each other's company before he left, whatever. Exchanging words and exchanging things and just real like intimate and fun times. So he left in November. He texted me in June. We hadn't talked again this year until June, when he like reached out and messaged me. I hadn't been ready to talk to him. It's just so much up and down. Like, I was not ready to talk. So that's why I didn't reach out, and probably same thing on his side. And I want to preface this by saying, and I've said this multiple times, this is not a bad person. This is a nice human being, like a good guy with good intentions, not cruel, not ever meaning to be mean, not toxic. The only issues with the relationship is, if you know anxious attachment and avoidant attachment, it's like a push-pull dynamic. So the way he is just in general gives me a lot of anxiety. And then so when I get anxiety as an anxious person, that means I push that onto him. And then him as an avoidant person, that makes him feel like uncomfortable and like gives him anxiety. So then he pulls away, and him pulling away, it's like a push-pull dynamic. Makes me want to lean in and then him pull away more. So it's a lot of anxiety in a relationship when two people are like that and they are not healing, they are not taking the time going through therapy, which I went through therapy, and I worked a lot of it out with God and my therapist. So now I'm definitely leaning more secure as opposed to anxious, but things like this relationship, for instance, can still trigger those old wounds, those old anxieties. So yeah, we hadn't talked until June when he reached out. We briefly talked, barely. I just had to cut the conversation short, the texting short, because I just was not in a state where I was ready to open up that wound again. He messaged me happy birthday on my birthday, and which is the end of August. So we've been talking a little bit there. And then I reached out yesterday, briefly talked, and I did too much. And then I sent myself into an anxious spiral again. And I don't want to get into too many details, but basically, like, I'm doing so much work ever since that relationship ended. Like, I just had to put myself into like getting my life back on track. For once, I haven't been on track for years. I've been too depressed and too anxious and just too overwhelmed in my nervous system to really get anything done. So now, like, I've changed my life around, I've sought out God. I'm doing things in the church. I'm going back to college. I'm taking a Spanish course next week. I want to learn Spanish. I'm doing all the things I've ever wanted to do that I never had the energy to do before because I was in such a depressive state from relationships. And it's just my mental state is just how it was. Like I said, I'm doing things now. And yesterday it took me back into that anxious spiral, that old spiral, the spirals that I thought that I had freaking worked through. And I have been working so hard with my nervous system and praying to God and whatever since yesterday just to get myself back on track. And it's like the old feelings are coming up, and a feeling like hit me where it's like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do that stupid small group that I'm about to host at church. I don't want to do my college work. I don't want to do anything. And it's like a thought in my mind where it wanted me to backtrack almost. And it's a trauma response. Basically, it's like a freeze response when your nervous system is getting like over like pumped and stuff like that. Then basically you want to stop doing anything around you that's kind of difficult, because you don't want to add more difficult stuff to your already overworked nervous system. So I was starting to feel like that. And then I was having to go into prayer so heavy with God last night, and it still wasn't helping. And I'm just like, God, please help. And I had weird dreams. And then I'm waking up today and I'm trying to pretend like what happened yesterday didn't. Like that brief conversation, seeing him still in his old lifestyle, still, drinking whatever, hanging out with people, partying, whatever. It's like that was so triggering to me, because like I'm coming out of that life. Like, I'm growing up now and I'm stepping away from that, and that does not serve me anymore. And to just kind of see him still doing those old things remind me of my old life. And I'm I'm trying to reframe myself and be like, no, Amy, like that's your old life. This does not do anything for you now. This is not relevant to you now. None of this matters anymore to you now, because that is not you anymore. Like, you're not the woman who sits around and spirals anxiously over little things, like, because anxious is just of the enemy, you know that. And we put negative thoughts in your mind to make you believe them, make you feel like you're not good enough, make you feel like one little thing is just more grandiose than it actually is, you know, and that can derail so many relationships. And so now I'm just trying to reframe my nervous system waking up today, because I don't want to go back into those old anxious spirals. That is not my life anymore. That was my life before God. That was my life before he turned me and my life, I guess I'll say that again, around. That does not like dictate anything that I do anymore. Like, none of that matters to me anymore. But still, I'm trying to like regulate my nervous system. I felt that knot in the pit of my stomach. If you know, you know. Yesterday, so heavy. And just today, I don't want to sit around in my house, because if I sit around here, then I'm scared those negative thoughts from the enemy, you know, those negative anxiety spirals with my ex and other crap like that is going to try to creep in even more on me again today. So I'm trying to figure out how to reframe my day, because, you know, I don't work. If I went to work, I would just go to work all day and not even think about it. But I don't want to worry about it. So I'm going to try to be in prayer heavy and deep today. No secular music, nothing like that. Just worship music if I'm in the car, or like a godly podcast. I might go for sure I'm going to go for a walk. I got to go for a walk. You guys, if your nervous system is bubbling up and you have lots of anxiety, you got to go for a walk and get it out. It's going to be a prayer walk. I'm going to talk to God the whole entire time. I'm just struggling to talk to God lately in my prayer. I can't focus on my prayers. My mind's all over the place. And this was even before the anxious triggers of my ex. But basically today I got to really take care of myself. I got to lock in with God. I got to get in the word, even though I feel like I do that and it doesn't even do anything. But I know that it does deep down. And I know that's part of rewiring your mind. And when these anxious triggers come up, and they're going to happen for a lot of us if we've, you know, dealt with that, it's the enemy trying to creep back in, because you're about to do something great. Like me, I'm really working on this singles group of church. I'm really changing my life around. So then naturally the enemy is going to come push its way back in. And I'm not saying my ex is the enemy. I'm saying my ex is using those anxious triggers from my past life, seeing him and coordinating those two together. And it's hard, because I was hoping I was finally past that, you guys. I was finally past it, so I could have like a platonic relationship with my ex and just be cool. And I don't know, low-key part of me hopes one day like he'll get saved and it'll all work out. But like at the same time, it's too much for me right now, and that is just a sign. And he was talking about how he might be planning a trip out here, and now that has me a little bit anxious and nervous, because deep down I'm not ready for that, but I would love to see him type work. And who knows if he'll even come. You know, sometimes normally he keeps his word, but for some part of me is feeling like that it's not going to work out this time. Like God's kind of giving me maybe discernment, or maybe it's just me trying to derail my thoughts and anxieties and not worry about it. So now all this is running through my mind just because we started talking. But I'm going to be serious here. I'm damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because when I don't talk to him, I want to reach out. I miss that connection. And there's still a part of me pulled towards him. And I don't want to have to just, I don't know, like, what if he died tomorrow? I feel like crap. You know what I mean? And that's just how my brain works and stuff. And I don't like cutting off relationships and friendships, and just especially when we were all cool and nobody did anyone dirty, you know what I mean? But so I feel those feelings when I don't talk to him. And then when I do talk to him, and if I talk too much and don't keep things super surface level, then I have this anxious feeling today. I'm like, man, I shouldn't have talked to him. Man, I shouldn't have said this. Man, he's still doing that. Man, life's still the same. And it's like, it just wants to bring me back into that spiral, you know? And that's not my life anymore. So today I have to spend the day, like, I got to pick up my cross today. I got to spend the day prayed up. I wish I had someone to hang out with today to just distract my mind. And tomorrow there's a concert. I'm like, oh, I could go to the concert to distract myself. But no, that's how I used to do these things. I used to distract myself, going out, partying. Well, yeah, going out, drinking, partying, distracting myself, talking to other people, going to a concert, going out of the country. I used to spend so much time distracting myself with those things, and it never worked. Those distractions didn't work. They briefly like numbed me, but a lot of times I would be at the event, at the concert, and still thinking about the anxiety. So I don't want to go back into my old pathways. I want to be prayed up today. I want to align myself with God, because he's the only one who gives me peace. The only thing that gives me true unconditional peace. Oh, so yeah, my nervous system's a little cray-cray today. But yeah, I'm sure you can relate. So that's why I like to post these, and it was on my heart. I want to share what's going on in my life. I love you guys. If you're going through anxiety, the only one that can help you is God, okay? I love you. Have a good day. Bye.